alongside my lifelong brother, Bub, and we're doing what we do, pulling you through your afternoon through your favorite hot and local sports. Thanks for tuning in. This is the 740 Sports Show. Let's go. Sports Show. A very happy Wednesday coming off the heels of Election Day, Bub.
Yeah.
We are live from Sullys in the Valley. No better place to be in the 740 this evening. Bub, welcome to the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the food was delicious we had right before the show.
I've still got some left.
I was going to say, I don't know how you haven't scarfed that down already. As soon as it reached the table, I mean, it was right in my belly. I love the food. The milkshake was amazing, too. I got the s'mores milkshake.
Well, I got to tell you, Bub, while you were sipping on s'mores milkshakes and while you were eating all the burgers, and by the way, thanks for the cheese curds you left me. I do appreciate a couple of extra cheese curds.
Yeah, I think there was like 15. I gave you 5. It was a fair split.
But I was talking with the madman, Mike Davis. I was talking with the general, Jeff Davis.
Yep.
And, of course, T-Fred is in the building as well. We got all the voices from Pike County here this evening, and it's just going to be a rocking evening at Sullys in the Valley. Get down here. We're on Beaver Pike in Beaver, Ohio. And, Bub, we got playoff football to talk about. We're going to have some great voices joining us as well. Scott Tomlinson, head coach for the Eastern Eagles.
Yep.
He's going to be down here. He's probably going to have one heck of a crew joining him because, Bub, there's no better place to be. Sullys in the Valley.
Yeah, absolutely. And what better way to celebrate the week than with a 22-game regular season winning streak? And they continued that this year on the next year as well. The Eastern Beaver Eagles are looking really good right now.
Bub said he's buying milkshakes for everybody with an 11-0 record tonight. So that's what he said. I don't know.
I don't know.
Bub,
I don't know if
Bub,
I said that one.
Bub, bowling.
I'm balling on a budget.
So,
at best.
well, you know what? Hey, it's the best we could do. I was just going to try to maybe see if I could do like a jersey swap and get me a free milkshake. But nonetheless, we got a lot to talk about. Bub, we got a lot that took place last night in the sports world as well. So let's talk about a few things from the sports world, as we so often do here on the 740 Sports Show. To kick it off, a look back last night in sports. What'd you see?
Well, the college football playoff committee got together, and they got the top 12 figured out. And how about this? Oregon and Ohio State, 1 and 2 as far as the rankings. Obviously, Oregon will be the 1 and Ohio State predicted at the 5 with the conference champions having those top 4 solidified. But what a shock to me to see 2 Big Ten teams ranked in the top 2.
That's what I was going to say. How figured out did the college football playoff committee get it, Bub?
I feel like, if anything, it was very consistent. Like, they didn't value Georgia's loss against Alabama as high as what they did Ohio State's against Oregon on the road against the number 1 team in the country. So they did show a lot of consistency. But you're looking at teams like BYU. And how about Colorado sitting on the outside in with only 1 loss in the Big 12?
Yeah.
If they do get in with 2 losses, are they able to solidify a top 4 spot? Or are we going to see a team like Boise State who gets a conference championship? They might be able to sneak in.
Of a lot of things I don't want to see happen in college football, Colorado making the college football playoff
It's
just
pretty
feels
crazy
like
to think
one of them.
that they could come out as a Big 12 winner, though.
It's just, it is crazy, and I really don't want to see that happen because we're never going to hear the end of it. Bub, what else did you see from the top 12? I felt like the committee showed, like you said, a lot of consistency. I felt like they got most things right. I don't think it was perfect by any means, but I think they got a lot of things right in what they put out in their first reveal of what we're going to see potentially in a 12-team college football playoff landscape.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen 4 Big Ten teams, 4 SEC teams get together in that. We predicted no less than 8 coming into the season. So far it's held true.
So the question initially was 7, right? We started, is 7 the number? It's kind of where the bar was when the thought hit your head because, there's only 12 teams, 4 conferences, plus 1 coming outside of the Power of 4, the Group of 4, now they call it. I kind of wondered, how that might dictate some things, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think a big team that can dictate a lot of that is Notre Dame sitting in the independent. They can't claim a top 4 seed.
Yeah.
They're going to always be on, playing the first round of the playoffs because they're not in a conference, and that's going to be something that they're going to have to figure out going forward into the future if they want to make that change or not, if they ever want to get a home playoff game.
Playoffs.
Or a first round bye in the playoffs.
Yes, playoffs. It's playoff season. and we're talking about it in the college football landscape. It's already here in the 740. It's in full swing. Again, down here at Sullys in the Valley tonight, hanging out. We had an opportunity to meet Steve Adams before. He gave us a rundown on the menu. By the way, after speaking with Steve Adams, I'm not sure there's anything on the menu that's not incredible.
Yeah, right.
I don't think that there's anything on this menu that's not top notch. At least a all-time hype man. All-time
Everything we
sandwich
got
hype
today
guy.
was very good.
Hey.
So, I mean, he's 100% for 3 with me.
He's figured it out on a few things. Burger, definitely. Cheese curds, definitely. French fries, definitely.
Milkshake,
But you said
definitely.
that milkshake was phenomenal as well. So, just a full plate
Yes.
of playoff football.
Basket of fries.
A whole lot coming, Bub. A little bit of action happening last night as well. Did you take a look at any action football last night?
Yes, I did. I got to see Bowling Green take down Central Michigan.
Big
and that's a
win.
Bowling Green team that was very tested going into that matchup. They had played Texas A&M and Penn State both on the road,
Yeah.
2 one-score defeats. So Bowling Green's going to be a team in the MAC that causes a lot of problems. Another team in the MAC that we knew going into the season that was those Miami of Ohio.
That's true.
I mean, they just look very good. I mean, it was a squeak-by win this week, only by 6 points. I believe it was 27-21. Only a one-score victory. But, hey, a win's a win, especially on the road in MAC play.
Well, and they've shown some really nice things since Battle of the Bricks against OU, Bub. And once they picked up that victory, they've shown some things, but have the Bobcats as well.
Yes.
They bounced back. They got a nice win against Buffalo before the bye week. The Cats are back in action tonight. They're taking on Kent State on the road, 7 p.m. kickoff there. You can tune into the voice of the Bobcats, Marty Bannister, on Total Media Sports Radio as well, the flagship station of the Ohio Bobcats, 105.5 WXTQ FM out of Athens, and of course 105.3 WYPC in Jackson, or listening anywhere on the Total Media Sports Radio app. But, Bub, getting back to the Bobcats, I thought coming off of a huge week against Buffalo where you saw Shea Taylor was the MAC Defensive Player of the Week, had a great performance on the defensive side of things. You had the MAC Offensive Player of the Week in Coleman Owen, who every time we looked up, Bub, it was, here's number 6 with a huge catch in this football game.
It feels like about time he finally gets a MAC Offensive Player of the Week award.
Well, about time. It wasn't that the accolades weren't there, but just the recognition, it seems. And, Bub, Marty Bannister hit me with this on the Bobcat tailgate, and I thought this was great perspective. The secret's out about Coleman Owen in the MAC. He's seeing those double coverages. He's seeing different types of ways that defenses are having to defend him now as the folks locally walk out with the ice cream that I've yet to grab. Don't worry.
And smiles on their faces.
Don't worry. I'm going to get my ice cream down here at Sullys before we get out of here today. I'm just going to make sure that our good buddy Sean can just load everything up on his own while I'm in the ice cream line after the
just
show.
Put it all on his shoulders.
Hey,
he's a man. He's got big shoulders.
He's a producer.
He can.
He's a
producer.
He's a producer. Make no mistake about it. We love our good buddy Sean as well.
But back to your Mario comment about talking about Coleman Owen and the secrets out.
Yeah.
That was right before Buffalo, and he still was able to make some big plays in that game, even a deep bomb
Great game.
up the right sideline on Buffalo's sideline. So even though the secret's out and you are double teaming him, good luck stopping him still.
Good luck stopping him because you've still got that run game to worry about. You got Anthony Tyus, Ricky Hunt back there still to worry about. Anthony Tyus been on kind of a down stretch. I think he's been out a game or two.
Yeah, I believe he was questionable coming into this matchup tonight as well.
And you still have Parker Navarro, though, on the other side of things playing well. Chase Hendricks on the outside as well, wears number 7 on the offensive side. He's another threat that Parker Navarro has to get the ball to, and that offense is tricky in and of itself. And we don't really talk about that much with this Bobcat offense. We talk about it a lot in a lot of other offenses, but Bub, Coach Tim Albin and that offense, they put a lot of stress on defenses in that RPO scheme, and they're very good at doing what they do as well.
Yeah, and it seems like that offense is a ticking time bomb waiting for big plays to happen, but you're right. They put a lot of stress on the defense, and you got to play a collective, fundamentally sound
and they're
game
good
as a defensive unit to stop that Ohio Bobcats offense. The pistol is so difficult to stop.
It is.
If ran correctly.
Yeah. Yeah. And they run it about as good as anybody. And we've seen what the Bobcats can do. And it's so fun watching the Bobcats from the academic center up there. You're just kind of just looking at the whole thing. It's like the greatest huddle cam view of all time.
Yeah, exactly. Like a huddle cam right behind the quarterback.
Yeah. Shout out
for that sun on the left-hand side sometimes.
Yeah.
We needed a big cloud.
Well, Bub unfortunately was not prepared for the noon kickoff. He didn't have the proper hat and sunglasses that he needed. Did you leave him in the truck?
Yeah, I didn't bring none.
Come
that was
on,
just
Bub.
it was like we only got to sleep for like 4 hours before we had to be back up to OU.
Such a freshman mistake, Bub.
I don't even think I had jeans on. Like, that was a rare occasion. I had, like, sweats on.
Yeah, I mean, I was dressed as Frank Solich, so it is what it is.
Yeah, you were acting for a Frank or a fake Frank.
Hey, fake Frank. There's only one Frank Solich. There's only one winningest coach in the history of the MAC and Bub. The Bobcats return to action tonight. We're rooting for the Cats. They're 19-point favorites tonight, heading into Kent State to take on the Golden Flashes, another game locally that maybe not making a huge splash in this game, but had an opportunity to bump into this one recently as well. But Cade Wolford up there at Kent State, boy up the road here, right up here, Beaver Pike here, Bub, from the Jackson area. He's up there at Kent State, and it's funny, man. I had an opportunity to really see what the impact. We're going to get to talk to some of these other guys, making an impact down here in Pike County and Beaver as well later on. But I had an opportunity to once again realize the impact of these kids locally this weekend. It was like a fall carnival and a picture that Cade had just happened to sign. Well, they're putting that picture, got auctioned off for a very fair price, by the way.
Yeah.
I will say, hefty amount of money that was raised on behalf of that signature. So shout out to him for that. But they're putting that picture in the hallway at the Westview Elementary. I just thought that was cool because it's going to inspire kids, and that's what high school football and high school sports are for young athletes, right? I mean, kids, you put a ball in a kid's hand, and the future is unknown at that point.
Yeah, I feel like you were the living epitome of it as a kid growing up. I mean, you got that player of the game T-shirt from Ryan Tipton one night.
That was a big thing.
And I feel like that solidified it for you for football, or at least high school football in general.
Yeah.
Like, you were ready to go up to the next level and start playing football immediately after that.
Yeah, and these things matter, right? So not only are these things impacting younger kids and families, but, Bub, they're impacting communities. I mean, we wouldn't be at a place like Sullys tonight without the impact that local sports has on our community. I mean, we're going to have the opportunity to be here on Friday night for Football Friday Nights presented by General Mills with our good buddy Ethan Sargent. We're going to be in Beaver Friday evening for their contest against the South Gallia Rebels, a rematch of the regular season contest that saw a 1-point game. We're going to have the opportunity to hear about that from a lot of different voices that are going to tell that story much better than we will here in just a little while as well. But, Bub, I said all that to say this. We're going to be here, and we're going to see exactly firsthand what high school football means to this community down here in Beaver. And I can't wait to be here Friday. This has been a place that we've tried all year long to figure out, how do we get there? How do we get there? How do we get there? Well, what better way than the last Football Friday Nights of the season? It's going to be the final one. What better way than a Week 12 matchup against the South Gallia Rebels? And, Bub, I'm not calling for an upset. I'm certainly not doing it from Sullys in the Valley. God forbid. But we have seen teams that didn't necessarily, perform or outduel teams in the regular season come back to seek some vengeance. So we know we can expect a huge, ready performance from the Eastern Eagles, and they've been battle-tested all year long. They've gotten 10, well, now 11 straight weeks of everyone's best shot.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just
and we've talked about it all year.
Best shot.
All year. This is a tested team. This is a very well-deserved 2-seed in Division 7, Region 27, right behind Danville. That is doing some pretty crazy things in this region as well. And I'm interested to see how that's felt here, down here in Beaver as well. A relatively new football community, right? Just about 10 years since the inception of the program down here, but a community that we can see, Bub, loves football, has been yearning for football, and they're doing great things with their opportunity.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you want more football down in Eastern Beaver when you made the playoff 3 straight years in a row, and you got a 22-game regular season winning streak? You've been 10-0 the last 2 years, and now you got a great chance to win another playoff game and go to Week 3 of the playoffs.
Playoffs?
Playoffs?
Playoffs, yes, playoffs. We are talking about the high school football playoffs again, Bub. We got 2
It's already
games.
getting rowdy out.
It's getting rowdy. It's getting rowdy. We've talked about these Eastern Eagles, and I don't want it to get too rowdy over here because we got the General Jeff Davis sitting to our right as well with the voices of Pike County. And there's another team we got to talk about here. We're going to get to talk about him here right after the break. We got Jeff Davis joining the show here in just a few minutes as we get back here. But, Bub, I want to talk about the Waverly Tigers. This is a team that a lot of people locally, ourselves at times included, have kind of counted out the Waverly Tigers.
Yes.
Had a hard time stopping the run, had a hard time doing this, scoring enough points on offense to, keep up with these offensive juggernauts like West, like Wheelersburg, Mount Healthy, doing what they do as well. But Waverly has shown a lot of resilience this year, and I think that's a word that hopefully in time shows what this Waverly that currently sits at 6-5 is doing in Region 4, Division 15.
Yeah,
Division 4, Region 15, Bub. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. I feel like Waverly was a team that was getting this misconception that they were limping their way into the playoffs, and I can understand that they did have a losing skid on their way there, but they were just playing possum.
Is that
once
what
they
it
got
was?
to the playoffs, they started lighting it up. That game last week wasn't as close as what everybody expected, or especially that outcome of only 7 points.
Okay.
And we're going to talk to the general, and he's going to have some great thoughts on that. But
Playing possum.
Waverly is the team that has been, in the last 4 weeks, the hardest team to pick for me, just because they have been up and down all year. But I'll tell you right now, that team, that game last week, that was nothing but impressive.
Nothing but impressive on the road against Fairfield Union that went into that matchup as a 7 seed, Waverly hoisting the 10 seed in Division 4. I'm having a tough time with that word this evening. Division 4, Region 15. But the Tigers making the most of their opportunity in that age-old question that we've asked ourselves for the last few years here anyway. Since the playoffs expanded, what is the right number? Well, they took the time out of their weekend, Bub, to show that 10 is definitely a number worthy of a playoff opportunity. They used their opportunities in that one. A huge interception late. Mason Pollard uses that opportunity to cross the 1,000-yard receiving mark on the year as well. So we'll have an opportunity to talk about all these guys. And, Bub, I know that you were saying the Waverly Tigers are playing possum, or we're playing possum, but when you make it to the playoffs, Bub, anything's possible.
My goodness, what a pun that was.
You see what I did there, Bub?
I agree with you. They don't care how you get to the playoffs. You just get to the playoffs, and your season starts all over again in week 1.
Season starts all over again week 1. It's a new time. It's a new day. And Friday, it's going to be a new night in every region. Now down to the quarterfinals, Bub. 4 games left in every region. We're going to be talking about some of those here in just a little while. But when we get back from our first break, we got the general himself, Bub, the day after Election Day. Jeff Davis, he's going to join the show. Keep it right here. It's Eric, it's Bub. You're listening to the 740 Sports Show. It's Total Media Sports Radio. More when we return on The Game.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles?
Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
when you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hey, life doesn't stop when cancer starts. After diagnosis, treatment is vital. But for some, just getting there, to appointments, chemo, or radiation, is a major challenge. You can change that. Volunteer to give rides with the American Cancer Society Road to Recovery program. Driving for a few hours of your day can make a life-saving difference for someone with cancer. Visit cancer.org/drive to learn more.
While serving in Afghanistan, I was shot in the head by sniper fire. The fighting was so intense, the medevac chopper was barely able to land. I was given a 5% chance to live. I'm Adam Alexander, and I'm a veteran. Today, I visit classrooms and talk with kids about dealing with life's struggles. I tell them, with a little help and a lot of work, that you can overcome any challenge.
DAV helps veterans like Adam get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
I know that some struggles are big and some are small, but they're all struggles, and you have to learn to get through them. With support from DAV, more veterans like me can live their best life. And as a new father, I have one more reason to keep on keeping on. My victory is being there for the next generation.
Adam Alexander, May your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Want to get out of just about anything and look like an earth-saving hero? Just use the environment excuse. High school reunion? Ooh, sorry, can't. Planetary obligations. Unfortunate bridesmaid's dress. Unfortunately, you promised the climate you'd buy more vintage. Chauffeuring teens? Yeah, the Earth really needs them to hoof it. That's right, the environment is always the best excuse. So go ahead, ask your bae to dim all the lights because carbon emissions. Tell your dad-botted dad to eat more plants, for the planet, obviously. Kindly tell the kids to stop asking for a new phone. I mean, e-waste, right? Find your out and opt in to cutting carbon. Just visit theenvironmentexcuse.org. A public service announcement brought to you by WildAid.
And we're back with more of the 740 Sports Show on the game. Yeah, we are. It's Eric and Bub. You're listening to the 740 Sports Show right here on Total Media Sports Radio. It's Eric, it's Bub, and on the heels of Election Day, Bub, it's a gentleman I would vote for, the General of Sports himself in the 740.
I expected him to be
Jeff
a
Davis.
little more rowdy right now.
Well, you know what, Bub? Give it time. It's only 5:20, and he's minded his behavior after 5 p.m. long enough to join us on this show. So, General, we appreciate your time this evening. Thank you for joining us at Sullys in the Valley in Beaver.
I appreciate it. I'm still trying to get over the brokenheartedness of Bub picking against my Tigers on Friday.
I think you should be happy after the way my picks have been going this year, Jeff.
Well, you're right. You're right.
You know what? As a family, I can tell you, Jeff, we've all just lowered our expectations for Bubba, and it's paid off over the last
I'll try
3 decades.
I'll try to keep
low
that in mind.
expectations, still high disappointment.
So I gotta say, low expectations, but no low expectations for the Waverly Tigers. Jeff, we've seen some really great things from the Tigers. You actually had an opportunity to talk with Coach Crabtree himself today. We're going to play that interview in just a moment, but I gotta ask you. The time's going to tell us a lot of things about football. We're going to look back 5-10 years from now, and we're going to look at a lot of things. What are you going to look back and think about when you think about this Waverly Tigers football team?
I hope I say overachievers because there's been points this year, especially late in the year, where
it's a great term.
You know, it was it was near disappointing. I mean, you know, the Northwest loss was
that was
really,
a tough one.
really hard to swallow. I mean, I can only imagine how that was, you know, taken in the locker room by the kids as well as the coaches. But
better them than us. Better them than us. We've had our time. It's best they get yelled at a time or two, Bub. But
yeah, our days are past that.
You know, Coach Crabtree was less than enthused by that one as well. Tough night on the ground. I mean, just rough one.
It was rough all the way around. In fact, so rough I didn't even speak to him about it between that game and the next one. So
yeah, I mean, you know what happened. You don't need to talk about that.
No need to talk about
very
that
rough.
One. Yeah, but the Waverly Tigers have been tested at times. And you said it, hopefully overachievers. They've got some really nice overachieving wins on the year. I mean, started off hot over Miami Trace. You follow that up against Zane Trace the next week with a huge win over the Pioneers by 3 touchdowns. That's a playoff team as well. But as the year went on, we started to see some things happen. What happened as the Tigers got into conference play and things like that?
Well, I think they ran into some teams who know them really well, defended us better than maybe some teams who don't. Miami Trace has struggled year after year against us.
Yeah.
But the Wheelersburgs, the West, they're used to what we bring to the table offensively. And, you know, it's like division games in the NFL. It's always tougher.
Yeah. Always tougher.
It's a great perspective.
And that SVC was so much different. It was so tough in that conference, just week in and week out. You had Piketon, Unioto, Paint Valley. The wheels kind of fell off for the Bearcats late, but they were still competitive. Like that conference, and then you get into the SOC because you played some tough SVC schools as well.
Yes.
Then you get into the SVC or the SOC play, and it's just come on, man. I mean, it's just tough sledding. But they've shown some great things as well this season. You got a quarterback that's played well. Again, we've seen what Mason Pollard can do. Ball's in the air. Mason Pollard's coming down with it somewhere. And when he does come down with it, he can flat out run with it when he catches it.
Well, he certainly can. And, it was the three Masons the other night. You had Mason Kelly throwing it, Mason Pollard catching it, Mason Sparks catching it.
Yeah.
I don't know how often you have three Masons on a football team. That's a little weird. But
yeah,
those guys really, Mason Sparks in particular, he had a big touchdown catch where he had some yards after the catch, broke a couple tackles, got it into the end zone. It was huge. It really sealed the game toward the end. But the Tigers really controlled that football game. Bub mentioned earlier the score, it ended up what it did, and they had the ball late. But Waverly had chances really to put that game away many times.
Yeah, and that's kind of something you want to see if Waverly gets another lead this week is just put the game away. It is week 12 of high school football. You've got to solidify a lead once you get it.
Yeah, once you get the lead in the playoffs, that's the thing. Just keep the lead. And I want to talk to you about Indian Valley. But before we get on the topic of Indian Valley, General, I do want to hear from Coach Crabtree, the leader of the Tigers squad in Tigertown. This is what he had to say about, well, whatever you and Coach Crabtree talked about.
We'll find out in a second.
I'm here with Coach Crabtree, head football coach for the Waverly Tigers. Fresh off a Week 11 victory over Fairfield Union by a score of 28-21. Coach Crabtree, congratulations on the victory, and tell us how the Tigers were able to pull it off.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I thought going in, I thought we had a really good game plan offensively. I thought Coach Knight and the offense managed the game, really, really well, as far as pace, tempo, and, we were able to go out and get some points on the board early. And then, obviously, defensively, I thought our guys did a really good job of getting some stops and getting off the field. And I think it was a nice overall team effort.
Do you feel that the playoff experience this team's been fortunate enough to have over the last decade and this group over the last 3 years made some difference against a team with not quite that experience?
Yeah, I'd like to think that, we're kind of thinking about that in the back of my mind a little bit. I was like, obviously, this is not our first go around, and we kind of have expectations of making it and getting a win, and definitely, that's probably for them, that was probably one of their better teams they've had in a while. So I definitely think that played into the way the game turned out, and also I do think our schedule and some of the games that we've been in. We've been in some tight games and it went to the wire, and I think that definitely helped us also.
Well, we talked about that Mount Healthy game in Week 10, which is a tough one to end the season, but I think it really maybe slowed the game down a little bit for you last week against Fairfield Union.
Yeah, and I think just they were physical, they were fast, we got all facets of the game. So I think, going into that, I think, you never want to go lose a game, but ultimately that last game of the season we played against a team like that, I think, definitely was going to prepare us for future playoffs.
Sure. Moving forward, this week, Madden Hutton, Indian Valley, 11-0. One of the top teams in the region, came in second in the region. Most people would say maybe the top team in the region. Had the number one running back in the state of Ohio, ranked in I think 11th in the country. How do the Tigers prepare for such a tall task in Week 12?
Well, the big thing for us is just about preparing. I think looking at the team we played last week as far as the style, formationally, all those things are very similar to what they do. So I think that definitely will help us in the preparation. Again, I don't really think you can kind of, you can't mimic those things in practice. You can't mimic that in practice, but we just have to take the things that we did last week. At times we tackled really well, at times we didn't. We're going to have to tackle this kid with more than one person, and again, it's going to have to be a sellout. Everybody's going to have to be relentless, give relentless efforts to the ball. And again, offensively, I don't know, looking at what they've seen from a schedule perspective, and we can put some pressure on some people. We can cause some people problems. So, I think as long as we can get on the field offensively, as long as, we can have those opportunities, I think we can go out and win this one.
Well, and the Fairfield Union radio guy next to me really gave me some perspective last Friday. We've become accustomed to really good receiver play, really good quarterback play for a long time. So we tend to, at least from my seat, maybe take for granted certain things and expect a lot. They would have loved to have had Mason Kelly throwing the ball, or the other Masons or Cody running down the field and catch it. So you got to hope this week that maybe that sneaky athleticism offensively is something Indian Valley hasn't seen a lot of.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it. I'm not taking away anything from their schedule. I know that's good football up there, and again, probably a different style at times, but I think what we do formationally, the way, they're going to have to prepare for us probably more so like from different things that they haven't seen than maybe anybody they have to play all year. So, I mean, I think we can put some stress and put some pressure on people like that. And again, I like our guys athletically really match up versus anybody. I mean, throughout the whole year, I think that's been the case.
Well, and you're going to take a senior-led group, and that was clearly the case the other night. On the road, a tall task, no reason to do anything but just leave it on the field, right?
Yeah, for sure. And, again, like I told our guys last week, and we're playing with house money right now.
That's right.
And, just got to go out and believe and go get a fast start, be physical, and all the things you need to be. And, you just got to go see how it turns out. We know it's going to be, like I said last week, it's going to be a tough game. We're going to have to fight for 4 quarters. And you just got to go play, and when you got to stand up and be strong and get a stop, whatever, you got to do that. Or when you got to go score, you got to go put it all out there and make it happen.
Hey, we'll all be there rooting you on, and those that aren't, hopefully will listen to us on 100.9 Hank FM. Coach Crabtree, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Well, you better. That's where the General's going to be hanging out on Friday, giving you all the Waverly updates, man. Where else would you want to hang out if you're not listening to the Eastern Eagles, or really us too, but we do some cool things on Friday as well. But I digress. Great interview. General, phenomenal jobs. As you spoke with Coach Crabtree, one thing that he said, by the way, there are a lot of people that would like Mason Kelly throwing them the football, by the way. I don't think just Fairfield Union. A lot of teams would take Mason Kelly, but nonetheless, phenomenal interview. And one thing that I thought was interesting that you mentioned earlier as well, where Waverly is going to be one of the tougher matchups for Indian Valley as well. I mean, that offense can put stress on you as well. The Tigers can do a great job of that.
Well, and like he mentioned, he didn't want to say anything derogatory about their schedule, but there are not a lot of teams, especially in that area, that run the type of offense we run with all the the movement and emotion and different formations. So they have to take a lot of time to prepare and decide if they're going to play man or are they going to sit back.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a question, can we run the ball if they sit back, which is really what West, Wheelersburg, that's what they tried to do and successfully. Well, maybe not so much West. We were able to move the ball a bunch, but you'll also see Waverly if they win the toss. Well, it doesn't matter if they win the toss. I think Waverly will take the ball to start the game.
Yeah.
We did it last week. You got to kind of go out there and set a standard. My color guy Todd, we argued about it for 10 minutes. He never wants to take the ball. I said, well, we'll see here in a few minutes if it was a great call, and it was.
Yeah,
they went down and scored. So, what do you do best? You go down and score touchdowns. So let's do that first.
Well, notably, you're against the rushing attack in Indian Valley, the number 11th rusher in the country. So again,
how about
get
the
ahead
irony
early
of that?
Get ahead early.
Get ahead early. You're right.
Get
but
ahead
how about
early.
the irony of facing the number 1 back in the state, considering the couple of different weeks we had where we gave up a bunch?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me that we end up playing them.
But one thing that you mentioned and we've mentioned as well, but not fully discussed. When you talk about some of the best schedules in Southeast Ohio, of course, we're talking about the Irontons of the world. Wheelersburg played a phenomenal schedule as well. But how about Waverly? You had a Miami Trace that week 1, was right there with FAC contender Jackson.
Yes, sure, absolutely.
Week 1, when everything's a clean slate, take away the recency stuff from Miami Trace. That was a different Miami Trace team week 1. Unioto, you lose by 7 to the SVC champion.
Yep.
I'm sorry, even 6 points to the SVC champion. And then you run into Wheelersburg. That is Wheelersburg. They won the SOC. They are what they are. But Mount Healthy, I think, second in their conference as well. Wheelersburg got no break all year. Or I'm sorry, Waverly got no break all year.
Well, and back to the Wheelersburg game, if you remember, that was 14-6 at halftime.
Very close game with the opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah, and you have to seize those, and we were unable to do it, and it got away from us late, but much closer than 42-12.
But again, if you do against the Pirates, a team that likes to rely on the run game,
you force their hand and speed up the pace of the game a little.
Who really knows? And that was a team, too, that was just turning it on. And that Wheelersburg team was on a mission, too. I mean, they're just...
How about Barnesville? I got to say this. Barnesville blew everybody out
yes,
for
they
10
did.
weeks.
I know.
They get run off the field by the 14 seed. I mean, that's a tough draw.
Yeah.
Come
is.
on, man.
That's what I was telling Eric
man.
on our show. It just felt like Wheelersburg's not going to go all the way to Barnesville just to get beaten, and it didn't end up like that.
Well, now Union Local gets to try it out.
Well, exactly, and have fun, Jets. But that was one thing that we talked about was in that region, it's Ironton, and it kind of feels like Ironton is its own beast. But then it was the winner of 314 is what we said. Like, it was the winner of 314 kind of going forward. And there's some other teams that could shake up that region, but that's kind of how we're doing it. So, General, before we let you go, we got a couple minutes left talking about regions here, taking a look at Division 4, Region 15. If Waverly pulls it off this week, they're going to be looking down the barrel of New Lexington and the Logan Elm Braves.
Right.
So how are you feeling about either of those two teams? This is a tough region as well.
Well, it's hard to look past the one we have, here in a couple days.
It is.
Again, draw-wise, if you're going to play someone that late, assume it's Logan Elm. I mean, that's more familiar than anyone we played in that Western region we've been in forever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the Tigers like their chances. I mean,
like it.
If you beat Indian Valley, who most people would put at the top of the region, I mean, bring whoever on next.
I love it. And that's really been the mentality for Waverly. A lot of teams counter, and I'm not going to lie to you. I rolled with the Falcons a week ago.
So
I just didn't like.
I did. I had to break the curse.
Okay, I love that you're sticking with that and you're just milking it at this point.
Yeah, I do too.
Once he finds an excuse, it's just dead.
It's been 4 straight weeks of me picking it wrong. I got to stick to it.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
Okay.
Well, we'll go with that, I guess.
That must be why it took 8 or 9 weeks to
consistent.
lose to me this week, or this year too, General. I don't know what's going on with Bub, but anyway, you mentioned it. If you can knock this one off, the rest of the region's wide open, but it feels like Waverly has been playing with that mentality. A lot of people rolled out the Tigers, we kind of ourselves included, but they got the wheels back on in a playoff game on the road. We haven't really talked about going on the road, and that's a hostile environment at Fairfield Union. It felt like they had all the confidence in the world heading into that game against Waverly.
Yep.
Waverly was ready for it.
And they hit the magic number, 28 points. And all their wins, Eric, they haven't scored less than 27 points. And that's a big point of emphasis going into this game.
I think we need more this week.
I went with 38.
You and I talked about it. I think that's a good call. I said 45. I feel like we have to score a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, you're
we're
in
not
week 2
gonna
of the
stop
playoffs.
them. Right. You got to put points on the board.
Ngadhotten?
You left a syllable out. Nadden Hutton, I think.
Okay, well, we are in the home of Oktoberfest in Beaver, so I figured if we're going to give it a whirl with that one,
here's what I can tell you.
Why not that one?
It's 20 miles south of Canton.
Yeah.
That's how far we're going Friday night.
That's close to Canton is
New
less
Philly,
syllables.
About 15 minutes.
Right.
I'll just go with Indian Valley until then. Hey, we got to get the General out of here. It's going to be a fun night. We got a lot of people to talk to. We're in Beaver. Sullys in the Valley. Get on down here, say hi. We got folks showing up with signs. We got great food. I've still got to finish that burger pub. I got to get to the rest of it. It's a great burger.
I ate it.
Is that
it's not terrible.
Oh, man. Tough times
I thought
here.
about it, dude. I thought
I appreciate you leaving it there. Keep it right here. It's Eric and Bub and a whole bunch of guests. This is the 740 Sports Show. More when we return on The Game.
You deserve the peace of mind that comes with affordable health insurance. Get Covered Ohio can help at no charge. Financial assistance is available and coverage is more affordable than ever. Some health insurance plans are as low as $10 or less a month. Don't wait. Open enrollment ends January 15th. Make your free appointment today by calling 833-628-4467 or visit getcoveredohio.org. This message is supported by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, but does not necessarily represent the official views of the U.S. government. Sponsored by the Ohio Association of Food Banks, aired by OAB and this station.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
I'm Shanola Hampton. Every day, millions of people face hunger. Today, I will share with you some of their experiences. I'm stuck between paying for medications or paying for food. John from Maine. After paying my bills, I can buy groceries. It's sad to say, food comes last. Alice from Oregon. I thought pantries were for less fortunate people, but anybody could be less fortunate in a day or even a second. Claire from Virginia. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Hello, this is Greg Wilkett, President and CEO of Floor BWXT Portsmouth. We want to wish all the schools good luck on a safe and successful season. Just like a sports team, we've been working together to safely and effectively decommission the former Portsmouth gaseous diffusion plant and leave behind an environmentally safe and sustainable future for our region. On behalf of all of the employees at Floor BWXT, I'd like to wish all of the teams in the four-county region a safe, fun, and winning season.
And we're back with more of the 740 Sports Show on the Game. And we're back. You're listening to the 740 Sports Show right here on Total Media Sports Radio. It's Eric, it's Bub. This is the 740 Sports Show. And Bub, before the break, we had the opportunity to talk with the general himself. And it was a phenomenal time. And he, as always, entertaining, informative, and gave us an overall phenomenal view of Waverly football. But, Bub, this is a tough region that the Tigers are in. They're in one of the tougher games in the region against Indian Valley. But that said, let's talk about it all. Division 4, Region 19.
Yeah, starting off with Bishop
Or
Reedy
15.
at St. Clairsville, the Red Devils. Bishop Reedy coming into this game with a 6-game winning streak. I don't think
You good? Yeah. You're good.
I think there
You're
we go.
good.
Now we're good.
There you
Okay.
are. Sorry, bub.
We're going to start it off with
I can
Bishop
hear you just
Reedy,
fine.
the Silver Knights 7-4, ranked as the 8th seed, going to St. Clairsville, the Red Devils, Eric.
The
The
Red
redundant
Devils.
Red Devils.
The Red Devils.
11-0 on the season.
You hate that so much.
I just feel like if you're going to have a Devils, you don't need the Red Devils. It's very redundant. Like, it's self-explanatory at that point.
Not if they're blue.
But in this one, Eric, 4-0 for St. Clairsville against opponents with a combined record of 37-7. To put that into perspective for you,
Tough slate.
Bishop Reading and their 4-game losing skid that they had this year, the opponents' records that they were playing against, 37-7 as well.
Okay.
But in Bishop Reedy's defense, they've only lost games by about 10 points per game in those 4 contests.
So they are battle tested. They're showing that they can compete with some of the premier teams. But I mean, Bishop Reedy plays around the state. I mean, that's just the Silver Knights. They'll pick up. They'll play football against anybody, anywhere.
And it feels like very Wheelersburg-esque, right? Like
Well-
starting the season off with a 4-game losing skid, and then you have a 6-game winning streak as well.
It does, and I've kind of felt like the first 1 seed that we're going to see fall in the playoffs will be an unbeaten team.
Yeah,
That's just
for
been
some
my
reason
thing.
that fits the criteria of your upset alert.
There's something to be said about a team that plays football throughout the regular season, that's tested to the brink, that they can be pushed over and lose and learn from it. You learn so much about a team that's ready to make a postseason run or not make it, and that's how you coach your team. You coach your team based off of your losses and your ways to improve, and I just think that is a big weakness to a lot of teams. I'm not saying like Marion Local is going to slip up in the playoffs. I'm not saying expect Marion Local to lose Division 7. That's not where I'm going with
but
it.
I mean, I could see a team like St. Clairsville, maybe not this St. Clairsville team, and those 4 games there that I was mentioning earlier. They're outscoring opponents by an average score of 33-16, and that's just something that is so dominant. Bishop Reedy is a team that's going to cause a lot of problems for the Red Devils. But, man, what a matchup we get in round 2 of this region.
It's a huge matchup, and this is where you start seeing some teams that are particularly good at doing things great, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we're seeing Indian Valley, like the general said, like everyone's saying, they know how to run the football. They do it at a very high level, and they're very, very good at it.
Yeah, I mean, every team's establishing an identity at this point.
St. Clairsville is another team that is just, what are they doing great? Well, they're beating everybody by a ton of points.
Yes, that's exactly it.
That's the formula for what they're doing great. And
they're beating good teams as well. I mean, that's a 4-0 against teams that are 37-7. It's not like it's a cakewalk schedule.
No, not at all. And that's exactly what they do. They test themselves, and anything that happens, which is what the playoffs are, Bub. So let's talk about who the winner of Bishop Ready and St. Clairsville would take on. And it would be one of the lower seeded teams in that region.
One of the lowest matchups I think we have on our slate.
West Holmes and East Liverpool, the Potters, Bub.
Yes, the Potters.
They are the Potters.
Cool stadium up there. Surprisingly, I've actually seen their stadium that's 4 hours away.
Wow.
I
Wow.
know.
And that's from a guy that doesn't get very far outside the 7-4.
I know. I almost touched West Virginia on that side of the state.
Did you mean to?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
It wasn't legal at the time.
All right. Well, Bub, as the East Liverpool senior expert on the 7-4 of Sports Show, what can we expect from the Potters in this football game?
Hey, this Eastern Liverpool Potters team, 6-game winning streak since losing to that number 1 seed St. Clairsville in Week 5, 35-14. So East Liverpool has had a schedule where they have had some tough opponents on there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for them, I mean, 6-5 on the season, they have managed to do enough to get over 500 at this point. But now you got to go to. I'm sorry, you're at home. Yeah, you're at home this week. You do have West Holmes coming in, but for West Holmes, that's their first win against a team with a winning record last week, beating Unioto.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an impressive win, but it's really the only prove-it game that you've got on your schedule for me, at least.
And it does kind of feel like West Holmes kind of has to prove it again, right?
I mean, they've had close competitions in their matchups as well, in their losses, but unfortunately, until you start getting those wins, I can't start believing in you.
Yeah, and they got one last week against the tough Unioto squad, and we were very high on Unioto. I know that I really liked what I saw from the Sherman Tanks when they took on the Paint Valley Bearcats, but the Bearcats were just a little bit too short-handed for us to be completely sold on the Sherman Tanks.
Yes.
At least in the region. And it does feel like West Holmes and East Liverpool. I thought both of those two teams were the better team last week. I didn't call the Unioto game. This was a game that got talked about pretty heavily,
it was going to be a close
pretty
game,
extensively.
especially with the history of the Unioto Sherman Takes in the playoffs of recent years.
But the Potters come in after picking up a 12-5 upset, and I think against Canton South, if I'm not mistaken. And, Bub, for the Potters, you're at home.
Yeah, it's weird that you're a 12 seed and you do get a home field game.
You're in round 2.
I think that's another cool thing also. I'm glad that we don't see like the declared or undeclared seed get the home game. Like if it's 12 versus 13, the 12's getting the home game.
You get the home seed or the home game. It is what it is.
Yes,
you got to earn
absolutely.
it in the Ohio High School football playoffs. And Bub, that's exactly what's going on in this region. How about the Waverly Tigers, Indian Valley Braves? But that we already talked about. That's going to be a tough game for Waverly. Waverly's going to have to play its hands down best football game of the year.
I will say this: the one thing we didn't really highlight on Waverly's schedule is that Week 10 matchup against Mount Healthy. Like that's just a unique schedule. Kind of to have a game like that at the end of your schedule. I know they did get beat, in a big way, but still, they came into the playoffs tested, and that's a big factor for Waverly coming into this week as well.
The fact that the Tigers scored 21 points in that football game against Mount Healthy was what showed me that the Tigers had fight in them still.
Yeah, and we heard from Jeff on the show after that game as well.
Yeah.
He was very proud of Waverly in that performance.
He should have been. The Tigers were definitely underdogs going on the road.
Yep.
I mean, we saw a lot of matchups where we thought 7-10 going to be a close game. You got to lean one way or the other in these. That wasn't one that I thought the 10 seed was going to get it done. I mean, Waverly had struggled to stop the run. They've since figured out some things. I think that they've schemed up some things. I think that they're better at getting a lot of guys to the football. Is one thing I noticed late in the game last week.
But I think
a lot of Tigers getting to the football in key moments.
Yep, and again, Eric, and you highlighted it earlier. Get up early. Get that ball.
Take
the ball right off the coin toss and get ahead early. Force the run to have to air it out a little bit.
And make your stops.
Yeah, exactly. Like you've got the number 1 running back in Ohio coming, or you got to go and try to stop him. You can't let him make his moves. You can't break. You got to run through him. You got to tackle through him. You can't let him be shifty and get his agility going.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you're doing all the right things on the defensive side of the ball. But I think if you're Coach Crabtree in the Tigers in this region, before we move on to Region 27, Bub, where the Eastern Beaver Eagles are, I think if you're Coach Crabtree in the Tigers, your biggest thing is you're going to have opportunities in this football game. Every high school football playoff game is gifted with opportunities, albeit they could be very, very early. But
yeah, that could
nonetheless,
be very minor. It could be a 5-yard holding or a 5-yard false start penalty.
you're going to have opportunities, and you got to make sure that you do the most with them if you're the Waverly Tigers, if you're going to get the upset win on the road against Indian Valley, who's 11-0. Bub, let's talk about Region 27, where the Eastern Eagles are at 11-0. They are the 2 seed in this region. Just north of them in the region is the Danville Blue Devils, who play host to Portsmouth, Notre Dame. The Titans are 6-5. Picked up the revenge.
Yep.
I don't care. Upset win.
Surprise of the week for me, honestly.
Upset win over Shady Side after a 30-point drubbing earlier in the year. The Titans get it done last week at home. We saw that 3-hour drive in the playoffs pay dividends for the the Portsmouth Notre Dame Titans. But how are you feeling about their odds against the Danville Blue Devils, though?
Well, you said it paid dividends for them. I mean, it might have on Friday night, but I mean, you got the Blue Devils in Danville that you got to go to now. And the Danville, they got quarterback Jacob Hackman last week, 132 yards in the air, 4 touchdowns. Oh, by the way, on defense, Danville had 7.5 sacks split between, or 5 sacks split between Caleb Lucas and Owen Gronberg. This Danville team is a top team in this region, but I'll tell you what, that Eastern Beaver squad down there sitting in the 2 seed, they got a lot to say about it as well.
Okay, so I'm going to put this into perspective because 7.5 sacks is a crazy number of sacks.
Astronomical.
So let's talk about that just for a moment, Bub. Bub, I'm going to give you a statement. Just first number that comes to your head. Southeastern Ohio football, 7-4 football that we love so much. How many downs are you passing on traditionally?
Let's call it 10.
How many downs in a 4-down series?
How many downs?
Passing on 3rd down.
Yeah, if that. I mean,
most of the
honestly,
time.
yeah, I was going to say like maybe one every 5 downs.
How many drives are you in a football game?
12, 14.
High school? Let's say 9, 10. 9, 10.
I was thinking about 3 drives.
You give up 7.5 sacks. Let's call it 1 a drive. You can't play from behind the 6 in the playoffs.
No, absolutely not. I mean, a couple of those are significant yardage loss as well. So, I mean, yes, absolutely.
That's
and
a sack
Notre Dame is coming into this game winning by or outscoring opponents by almost 23 points per game. So,
crazy.
I mean, they do have the offensive production to get it done, but, I mean, that Danville squad, they're a buzzsaw.
Yeah, they are, Bob. I want to talk about the game right below that, though. Steubenville Catholic Central, who's 8-3, playing host to the Miller Falcons. Bob, Miller is a name around these parts that is familiar to the Eastern Eagles. A double overtime thriller to kick off the year.
What a great game.
What a great, and I won't forget you asking me prior to the 7-4 Sports Show on Thursday, how do you follow up last season if you're the Eastern Eagles?
Yeah.
And here we are, week 12, Bub. They're 11-0. They figured out a way to do it. But I remember rebuttaling on Monday. I can tell you how. A double overtime win at home to start your year. I loved everything about it, and it was a huge win for Coach Tomlinson and the Eagles. And that is exactly what it probably took to reignite the flame from just a year ago. I'm not saying it was dwindling or anything like that, but what a way to get buy-in into your program if you're down here in Eastern. Double overtime win at home, start your year.
Yeah, and a win that aged very well. I mean, Miller sitting in the 5 seed in that region at a 9-2 record. And how about this, Eric? You said Miller was a familiar name. How about Strasburg?
Yeah.
The team that Beaver just beat last week. Catholic Central lost to that Strasburg team 34-19.
I know. It shows you how wide open this is.
I like Miller's chances in this game.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, they do have to go on the road to Catholic Central, but that 3-8 loss to Strasburg, that's scary.
Something to be concerned about. And Miller's played in some good football.
That was a great win for Eastern Beaver. I mean, let's just talk about how great that Miller squad has been this year as well.
Yeah, they've done a great job. And I want to talk about Eastern Beaver, but I want to talk about the Trimble Tomcats and Connerton Valley before that, because, again, once we hit this break, Bub, it's pedal to the metal. It's Sullys in the Valley. We are hammering home the Eastern Eagles from 6 to 7 p.m. So strap in. It's going to be a fun one here on the 740 Sports Show. We're going to have the Madman, Mike Davis, joining us here in just a little while as well. So, again, going to be a great time. But, Bob, the Trimble Tomcats travel to Connerton Valley, to Bowerston, to take on the Rockets. How are you feeling about their odds on the road?
For Trimble, Eric, and we talked about this a little bit throughout the year, Trimble has not been a team that has honestly impressed me as much as what I expected them to. They've got 4 losses on their schedule.
Yeah.
Everybody's declaring them as the second best team in this region. I don't see it. I think it's a clear favorite in the Eastern Eagle Beavers to take that. And also, Conotton Valley won 7 out of the last 8 games. They do have trouble getting wins against the middle of the pack teams. A lot of their wins have come against teams under 500 on the year.
Absolutely.
But for Trimble, seeing Eastern and Worthington Christian both out of the playoffs, and those are 2 teams that you did lose to this year, that scares me.
It does, yeah, but it doesn't scare me if I'm an Eastern Eagles fan, because right now it feels to me like this region is truly up to us in Danville.
Absolutely, yes, 100%.
And if I think the Eastern Eagles, we've already seen they can take down Southgate. You got to play a good football game to do it. Got to be a clean football game. You're at home. I think you got a lot of things going in your favor this time around for the Eastern Eagles. But, Bub, I think they're better than the Trimble Tomcats. I didn't love what I saw from Trimble in week 1. I haven't seen a ton of improvement.
Yeah, you've been very critical on them since that Worthington Christian loss.
I mean, huge loss. Yeah. Huge loss in that football game. In Conotton Valley, I'm not a believer. Like you said, struggle with middle of the pack teams. I think that the Eastern Beaver Eagles and Danville have the most to say in this region. Very top-heavy, 1-2. I'm excited about how this region shapes up.
Yeah, and absolutely, and we've been talking about it as well. I think the disrespect that Eastern Beaver has been getting as far as the playoff seeding, I mean, unfortunately, they didn't land the 1 seed, but at the end of the day, you're going to be at a neutral site if you do meet in Danville later on in the playoffs. But for going undefeated in back-to-back years and having, successful playoff wins as well, like, this team has a lot of expectations this year, and I expect them to do a lot not only this week, but going forward.
We're going to get to the break. We got the madman Mike Davis joining us on the other side of the break. But before the break, I want to ask you one question. Regional finals for Eastern Beaver or no?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's Eastern and Danville.
Yeah. I had to do the math there for a second. Yes.
Yeah,
I do. It is.
Sorry.
Yes.
I should have hit you with...
I was going to say last 2 in the region.
Yeah, I should have hit you with last 2 standings.
Yes.
Sorry, Bob. I know numbers, quarters, dollars, things like that. Bob struggles with math in a big way. But hey, we got some help. We're in great company this evening here at Sullys in the Valley, Bub. Sullys in the Valley.
Burger.
You know what? I did finish my burger on the break. I do have some fries left. I'm going to go over here and knock out. You're listening to Eric and Bub. This is the 7-4 Sports Show. It's Total Media Sports Radio. More when we return on The Game.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. And everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it.
If you're happy and you know it, smile big and bright.
Shriners Hospitals for Children is able to make an everyday miracle happen for kids like me.
Because of you.
We are happy and we know it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please go to loveshriners.org right away.
OHIO 100.9 Hank FM is your home for Buckeyes football action this fall. Listen all season long as the Buckeyes battle for another Big Ten title and go on a quest for a national championship. Coverage of the Ohio State University football on Hank FM is brought to you this year by Brewster's Real Estate and Auctions, Advanced Services Heating and Cooling, Mark Porter Ford, Garmin Feed and Supply, Ramey's Homes, and Easter Seals. Coverage is also brought to you by Jackson County Health Department Search Program, Dakota's Roadhouse of Jackson, Monroe's Collision, Mark Porter Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, and Waterbeds and Stuff. Listen to Buckeyes football all season long live on 100.9 Hank FM. Go Bucks!
Every 36 seconds, a vehicle is stolen in the United States. Cars are an important investment, and you have the power to protect it. Remove valuables from your car or place out of view. Roll up your windows completely. Don't leave your car running while unattended, especially during the winter. And always lock your doors and take your keys or fob with you. If you know something about a vehicle theft, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB.
This is a public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Did you know Jackson is home to a locally owned and operated full-service print shop? Zip Printing covers all your print, signage, and design needs. From business cards, booklets, and posters to yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, oversized signage, and more. We can help you or your business advertise and look good doing it. Zip Printing also offers logo design. Allow us to assist you in building or elevating your brand today. Zip Printing is located in the Stockmeister Plaza at 708 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio. So stop in or give us a call at 740-286-3023.
Looking to furnish your home with the best brands and values? Come to Kohl's Furniture at 3581 Jasper Road in Piketon. We build a family tradition of great service and value offering top name brands. Need financing? No credit, bad credit? Don't sweat it. Visit Kohl'sFurnitureStore.com today. Plus enjoy free local delivery on purchases over $500. Open Monday through Saturday. Call us at 740-289-4404. Kohl's Furniture, with great service and great value, are a family tradition.
You're listening to 660 AM and 95.9 FM, The Game. WXIC AM Waverly, Chillicothe, a Total Media Group station. You're listening to the 740
And we're back with more of the
right here on Total
Sports Show
Media Sports
on the
Radio.
Game.
It's Eric, it's Bub. This is the 740 Sports Show. And now, Bub, we are joined by the madman himself. Mike Davis is joining us at Sullys in the Valley.
He's even got it printed on the shirt.
What's up, I gotta
everybody?
say, and it's as rowdy as it gets, bub.
Yes, we got cowbells, we got
cowbells,
sirens. We're thinking it's cops going up and down the street.
I tell you what, it sounds like cow tipping here in Eastern, outside of Eastern High School in Beaver, man. But you know what? I'm here for all of it. The cowbells, the sirens. It's what
More
makes
when we return
playoff
on the
football
Game.
unique. In the 740, and we're joined by one of the most unique characters
After 80 years of
in
learning his
our
wildfire prevention
Total Media
tips,
Sports
Smokey Bear lives with
family. Bub, Mike Davis, the madman, the voice of the Eastern Eagles. He's here with us. Thank you for your time. Thank you for helping get us down here at Sullys in the Valley. The energy's great.
Oh, absolutely. It always is here at Eastern. This is my first full year covering the Eastern Eagles, and I couldn't be happier. I get to call my son, play football. He's a senior, so it's great.
Yeah.
I love the crowd. I love how the fans get involved, the moms. They got signs over here. We like to get the crowd riled up. I am missing a couple of my broadcasting buddies.
That's okay.
It's kind of cool. You get to work with your brother. I get to work
I don't love it.
I
didn't choose it.
I get to work with mine too, T-Bone. He's not able to be here, but I'm also get to work with my brother from another mother, Rockin' Raj. He's down in the back, but he is tuned in. He's listening to us. So shout out to Rockin' Raj. Hate that you're not here, buddy. He's the one who really brings the energy. I'm just there.
Oh, Now, for a guy that's just there, you do a pretty phenomenal job yourself. But yeah, Rockin' Raj, man, he's on the injured report tonight. But he's on the injured report, getting some ice on that back.
Yeah.
Just resting
Listen,
up.
It's a long season.
It's a long season, but a long postseason. A lot of long postseason plans here in Beaver. So you mentioned it, your first season covering the Eagles. I got to say, phenomenal job. Big thank you from our Total Media family. The folks down here in Beaver think you've done a phenomenal. Honestly, after election results in Pike County, I got to say Pike County thinks you're doing pretty great. Nonetheless, hey, what have you seen from the Eastern Eagles all year long, really?
So, I got to cover the first two playoff games last year for the Eagles. After the Red Streak season wrapped up, I came over here with T-Fred.
Yeah.
And that was right when Total Media took over the station. So, we wanted to expand coverage. I got to see that. I know they were a senior-heavy team last year.
Yeah.
And they graduated several. And this year, I wasn't sure, what to expect. I didn't expect them to go 10-0, honestly.
No one did.
Until
anyone that did is Coach Tomlinson, and that's it.
Yeah, until I saw them play against Miller.
Yeah.
And when that was
game.
a double overtime game. That was the first game that Rockin' Raj and I got to call together. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, on the edge of my seat the whole game and double overtime at home, and I thought, this is something special right here.
Yeah, what a way to start the year.
Yeah, start the year with a victory against a tough Miller team, and then just to roll forward. And our 4 seniors this year have really, they came to play.
Yes, they did.
I'm super impressed, and we got a first-year quarterback as well. And I think his mom calls him Little Eric, but he ain't too little to me. He's like 6'3" or something. He's a big old boy.
Little manly, you would say?
He is a little manly.
Yeah.
We used to call him Little Eric as a kid.
Little Eric.
Yeah, well, now they call me a little manly, too. So
You're
back
still
off,
like 5'8".
Aaron. Back off, Aaron.
He's got
Make sure everyone in Beaver knows your real name.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my government name.
How about your government name?
But he's got a cannon for an arm, and watching him throw that football, it's a thing of beauty to see that thing sail down the field. But he's also got some legs on him too. He can run,
and he's also got the leadership ability. I mean, he's led that team down the field some really key times throughout the year. And Bob, one thing we've talked about this Eastern Beavers squad, and before the break we even mentioned, very battle-tested team. They've gotten everyone's haymaker week in and week out, and it is shown. And time after time, he shows up. He's there for the squad. He's done a phenomenal job, like you said.
He has, and he's got some good receivers to back him up as well. With the senior Wyatt Richardson, senior Tucker Lice. He's got Boston Webb, and Carson Peters and Benji Bauer. The offense is really good.
Shout out Benji.
Yeah, that's right.
Benji doing big things.
I think Benji's mom
Cowbell for Benji. Cowbell for Benji. I
think
love it.
Benji's mom may have gotten a concussion last game. First time ever I've seen something fall out of the press box into the crowd, and I think it hit her right in the head. One of them big old Stanley Cups.
Is that what we hear ringing still?
Yeah, that's
Is that the ringing we're hearing?
Are we going to have to wear hard hats this week?
I think you're going to have to, because it gets really rowdy in that press
That's what
box.
it sounds like. I can't wait. They're throwing Stanley Cups at people. It's like Texas, but 7-4-0.
That's right. It's Football Friday night here in Beaver, and again, the seniors have stepped up. We've got a good offense, but kind of what I like about football is defense.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Offense will win you games. Defense will win you championships.
Hear that, Bub?
And that is, our defense has really stepped up. This whole season. I mean, they have taken care of business. They mesh well as a group, and they like to hit hard. So
yeah, they do.
The defense. I expect the defense to show up this Friday against South Gallia.
Yeah.
But they're lots of interceptions, fumbles, forced fumbles, sacks. A lot of takeaways. They hit hard, and just kind of watching some of the replays from our awesome streaming crew, and just watching when I get home, I like to critique myself and watching the game and watch my son. It's like, man, those are just some big hits, and I love defense. I love everything about it, and that's what I'm here for, just a good hit.
Go ahead,
And I
Bob.
really do want to highlight how the defense for Eastern Beaver has helped them or propelled them to another undefeated season, but also the short-term memory for the quarterback in Manly.
I think it's because people are getting hit in the head with cups.
Yeah,
it could be. He's going to have to wear a hard hat to every pregame practice as well. But think about the interception that he threw against South Gallia with about 5 minutes left, and then your defense stands up, gets a big turnover on that fumble, and then what's Manly do? He erases that interception out of his mind, drives him down the field, and throws a touchdown pass to the front pylon. It was a beautiful play.
It was, and that was.
Oh yeah, that's country right there.
It's hot rods here, but yeah, that was the game winner. Yeah, that was the game winner. That was to Boston Webb. I mean, just a great extension on that catch, and he held on to it. I mean, he was covered.
He was. It was a great throw, great catch.
There was coverage there, and he was able to pull it down, and that was the game winner. That was a low offensive game for both teams.
Yeah.
I don't expect to see that again.
I don't either. Not in this one.
I think we're going to see more offense, but I think our defense is going to step up.
Yeah, I mean, it was the Eagles' lowest offensive output of the season as far as points, and 13 in that victory.
Well, and it's an offense that scored a lot of points, not only this year, but last year as well, scored a lot of points, did some great things. But I'm glad you brought up the defensive side of the ball, because Coach Tomlinson, since the defense is a culture thing.
Yes.
When you're flying around, hitting people, and doing the thing. We're from Jackson, Bub.
Yes,
Jackson,
we are.
they say the name of the game's hit. Well, Eastern Beaver, they're doing the same type of things. They play physical football down here, and that starts from the top down. The offensive side of the ball, that's a mean offensive line as well. And then you couple that with those guys on the defensive side flying around. being physical in Division 7, Region 27 will take you a long way, which is why
that's key to victory.
That is it. That is it, and which is why I think the key is, or the defense is so key for the Eastern Eagles. What do you think? I don't know. Have you taken a look at Division 7, Region 27? Something tells me that you're looking ahead at things to kind of see how the Eastern Eagles shape up to some degree in the playoff run.
I have been watching, and we got a great chance against South Gallia. I think the computer models have us winning by 7.5.
Yeah.
I want to see them take on Trimble in the next round.
Ooh.
Only because I tune in to the Football Friday Night Show.
I figured this is where it was going.
I hear what has been said by that gentleman who calls in. I don't know who he is. I think his name is Bo. Talks a little bit of trash. So I
defended the honor of the Eastern Beaver Eagles, especially last week.
Absolutely. So, yeah.
I said, not so fast. That Eastern Beaver Eagles team, they got a lot to say about that second spot.
And, so
I love it.
Some of the times when the 44 Magnum rides home with us, we're tuning in, and he gets to hear it too. And I'm like, see?
Oh, no.
Listen, Adam.
No.
They're talking a little bit of smack.
It's disrespect.
So, he's like, all right, we're going to show them. We want Trimble. We want Trimble.
Look what we've done. Look what we've done.
I'm rooting for Trimble Friday night to come. Then we'll meet them at that neutral site, and I'm looking for Eastern to take them down.
Well, Mike Davis, the madman, the broadcast, the voice of the Eastern Eagles. You're not the only one. You're not the only one. We're at Sullys in the Valley, bub.
Yeah.
Sullys in the Valley. We got a whole crowd of people waiting to do exactly the same thing.
Listen to this. This is great.
Snoopy, already Christmas lights on cars.
We're seeing Christmas lights. Listen,
it's too early for Christmas.
It's never too early for Christmas lights.
I was pulled into a Christmas meeting today with playoff football around the corner. Rest assured, it's a little bit too
that's
too
Christmas
early for
meetings,
Christmas.
not lights.
Listen, bub. Meetings, no meetings, Christmas. I don't want to hear you talk. I get to go in front of you at the Thanksgiving line. I don't want to hear it.
There's
you are
plenty
always
of food to
on
go
Thanksgiving.
around. I'm not
On
worried about getting in
Thanksgiving,
front
it's
of
all
that line.
Thanksgiving.
Our mom cooks us well.
You're not worried about looking ahead at Christmas when Thanksgiving food's on the table. So I don't want to hear it. I get to go first this year at Thanksgiving because I'm the one recognizing the here and now. Also the here and now, the Eastern Eagles. So again, a program from the inception, only a 10-year program.
Yeah, 10 young. This is their 10 full season. They started, I think, about 14 years ago.
Yep.
With just a few games, and they've built it. So, this is the 10th full season. Yes.
So, obviously, it's built to things like this. It's Wednesday. You see things like this on Fridays in other places, bub.
Yeah.
But a Wednesday?
I know. A Wednesday.
A hump day.
I mean, hey, what better way to get you over that hump day than to come to Sullys?
That's it.
You're absolutely right.
It. But so talk to me about the community. What are you're very active in the community. You're very involved locally in a lot of other things going on, not just the voice of the Eagles and the streaming voice of the Eagles as well. Total Media Sports, YouTube's got you covered on Fridays as well in that aspect. But you're very involved. You wear a lot of hats. What is the community vibe around this Eastern Eagles team that, again, back-to-back 10-0 seasons, they sit at 11-0 and a very realistic chance at making a regional to state run?
I fully agree with that. I think that the region's wide open for the Eagles.
100%.
And I think it comes down to the Eagles in Danville.
Yeah,
that's it for
hands
us.
Down. That's where I'm right there with you on that. But as far as the community goes, I mean, look at this. Like you said, it is a Wednesday night.
That's it. It's killer.
And we've got signs, and this was kind of.
Yep.
This was kind of an impromptu.
It's a little makeshift.
Bring the show here.
I love it.
That started last night. After we talked to D Money, he gave me a call, and look what came in. What we've got. We've got signs.
Come on.
There's going to be a contest for signs. We got people here. They're showing up for this good food here at Sullys.
We got pancakes on the sign.
Pancakes?
Yeah, pancakes.
There's a
there are pancakes. There are a lot of pancakes. Well,
but this community is just great. They really stand behind their school.
Well, Mike, one thing that my mom taught me when she revealed to me that she actually ranked my brothers and I ranked me first.
All right.
Growing up.
When
as
was
kids.
this? This must have been before I was born.
Yeah, this is a real conversation. But we also have a 7-4-ometer that we use to rank environments.
Yeah.
In the 740. Eastern Beaver. Sullys in the Valley.
Up there, right?
Woo!
And I think what you're going to find is
it's up there
as we get a little further after 6 o'clock. Now I see the team here. They just got out of their practice. I know they kind of held them a little longer in practice, wanting to go over a few final things.
The grind don't stop.
It don't stop, and
Bubba
they're
used to
gonna
get
start
held over
showing
after
up.
school too.
Yeah, I did too, but usually I got caught skipping or something like that. So hey, you got to stay. But no, look at this. I mean, they're coming in. So this, and you will see this for basketball, for the volleyball team.
Yep.
I got to do a couple volleyball games for Total Media
Phenomenal
Sports.
volleyball down here. Phenomenal volleyball program.
The crowd for the volleyball games. It was unreal. It was great. The energy. I walked into an Eastern versus Western volleyball game, and you couldn't even find a place to sit. Just packed house. That's what this community does. They come together for their school no matter what. So the girls basketball, the boys basketball, baseball, everything, this community will rally. And as basketball gets going, I'm sure if we do anything like this again, we're going to have this type of turnout.
There have been some huge games in the women's basketball program make its way through here, Bub.
Yes.
Carson Roney, a notable basketball game, also a volleyball player as well. Spent some time down at Shawnee State. I got the opportunity to coach Chandler Brown, who was a phenomenal volleyball player here in Eastern Beaver as well. And she was a captain for us at Rio Grande. So
I remember you coming down to recruit Beaver a lot as well.
Women's sports have long been going and booming down here, so we're happy to be a part of it there with you,
we
man.
want to bring some coverage to that. But to go way back, Marlene Stullings.
Yes.
She's got, the most career points ever. I think it was over 3,000.
Yeah.
She went on, she's a head coach, I think in Minnesota. I'm not 100% sure. Mr. Leist will know, but I mean, she's from right here.
Yeah.
I was there at the game when she got, scored over 3,000. So, I mean, that's what they produce here. So it's just a phenomenal school, and I'm happy to be a little part of bringing this coverage.
Yeah.
And we also like to sing.
We sing?
We sing here in Beaver. It's not very pretty.
Like Paint Me a Birmingham?
No, turn out the lights, the party's over by Mr. Willie Nelson. Every victory.
Hey, even
That's
another
the thing?
great.
That's the thing?
That's the thing here.
Can we play it? Can we play that tonight? Is there a way we can play that at some point tonight?
I mean,
I saw Steve Adams earlier.
I think I saw a "Turn Out the Lights, the Party's Over" sign when Rock and Rod. That's a Rock and Rod thing too.
Okay.
When we started that last year.
Yeah.
And we brought that over here. This last game.
Yeah.
The whole press box sang, and everybody sitting in front of us sang it as well.
So that is like what you hear about at the college football program in those cultures.
That
Bub.
kind of
It's
culture
happening.
we were talking about getting built back up within the 740 area.
Well, it was funny because as you yesterday went on your tirade on our show, as some very large gentlemen make their way into Sullys, I can only assume that's the soccer team.
Yeah, that's the soccer team.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I can make any friends
No,
in
you
Beaver.
got some looks there.
I got a dig. I'm kidding.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, Bub, take care. Help
That's
me
a
out.
big soccer
Help
players.
Help me out. Shout out the soccer team, man. Hey, we're having fun. We're down here at Sullys in the Valley. We got the madman Mike Davis with us. We got a lot more friendly faces to talk to here in just a little while. We got one more minute, though, before the break. I want to ask you. What are you expecting tomorrow night based on just the environment that you've seen?
I'm expecting probably one of the best football games I've been able to call this year. South Guy is going to bring it.
Yep.
But I know
they're going to be ready.
These Eastern Eagles are going to bring it as well. And this time, we don't have to take that long trip.
It's a long trip
to Crowns. It is. It's like an hour and a half.
A lot of these.
Windy
It's
road.
definitely a curvy boy.
So now they get to come up here. And then our boys are going to be ready. I feel like it's just going to be an epic game, and I cannot wait. I'm already excited. It's Wednesday, and I'm already just like on edge about it, thinking about it. When the Magnum comes home, I'm asking him, okay, what are we doing? What do we think? Just kind of going over what the process is going to be, and I know he's excited, and the whole team's excited. I'm super excited. I can't wait. It's going to be a slobber knocker here in Beaver on Friday.
As we noted, you'll be able to tune into the madman Mike Davis, not only right here on The Game on WXIC Radio, but also on Total Media Sports YouTube, the live stream coverage as well. You mentioned you're excited. There's a lot more excitement than just you. We got the madman. We got these fine people at Sullys in the Valley, and we got the Eastern Eagles squad joining us after the break. Keep it right here. It's a Total Media's 740 Sports Show. More when we return on The Game.
Smoke
Smokey the Bear.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. And remember,
Only you can prevent wildfires.
brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
While serving in Vietnam, a grenade took my ability to see. Today, I'm a sculptor. Now, my fingers are my eyes. I'm Michael Naranjo. As a veteran, I know the challenges of life can be great. In my art, turning a lump of clay into something beautiful, that is worth doing. Life is like that. We each must use what we can to make things better.
DAV helps veterans like Michael get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
Now, I show others how they can create something with their own hands. I know it can do a lot of good. With support from DAV, more veterans can shape their lives into a thing of beauty. My victory is bringing beauty into the world.
Michael Naranjo, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
My hospital stay would have cost $25,000, but with VA healthcare, it's free.
My education would have cost $42,000, but with VA benefits, my books, tuition, and housing are all covered.
The down payment for my home would have been $74,000, but with my VA home loan, my down payment was $0. My service was then. My benefits are now. Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
What could you make possible as an organ, eye, and tissue donor? Leave behind the gift of life. Go to organdonor.gov, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Need a clean, safe, and convenient place to do your laundry? Look no further than Duds & Suds Laundromat, your self-service laundry destination at 112 Forsyth Street in Piketon. We're open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., offering enhanced quality cleaning with newer washers and dryers. Relax in a spotless environment complete with security cameras for your peace of mind. And while you wait, grab a snack from our vending machines. Duds & Suds Laundromat, proudly supporting Pike County High School sports. Come experience the difference today.
You're not reaching your full potential.
Are you okay, son?
This is Kevin Love. I've partnered with The Spider Within, a Spider-Verse story to let you know that everyone's going through something, even superheroes.
Hey, Dad, you got a minute?
Visit kevinlovefund.org to learn more.
And we're back with more of the 740 Sports Show on The Game. And we're back here listening to the 740 Sports Show right here on Total Media Sports Radio. It's Eric, it's Bob, it's the madman Mike Davis. And now we are joined by defensive coordinator of the Eastern Eagles, Daniel Stewart. He's here with us. And Daniel, thank you for joining the show here. We appreciate you. And as we continue to push buttons and get things settled away here, we're going to get things squared away. But thanks for your time. I want to talk to you a little bit about this Eastern Eagles squad who has been tested all year long, by the way. I told you during the break, congratulations on a killer season. Let's talk about it.
Thank you. Yeah, we've had a great year. I appreciate you guys, too. Appreciate the time and
of
having
course.
me on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, it's been a great year. Like you said, I'm the defensive coordinator. It's my first year here. We've had a pretty good year defensively. Just some statistical-wise, last year we allowed around 20 points a game. This year we've shaved that down to 13.
Yeah.
So saving one full touchdown a game compared to last year. We forced, as of this past Friday, we've now forced 33 turnovers if you count safeties, 30 turnovers without safeties, and 4 defensive touchdowns. So it's been a good year.
That's one of the things we talked about was the ability to take away the football, the ability to get after quarterback. You've done an exceptional job about that. What are some of the things that you and the defensive side of the ball looked at, and some of the things that you took the offseason time to do, and even leading into the season, took the time to look at and improve on that helped you make some of those adjustments?
I watched a lot of the film last year. I got added onto the huddle about in June, and I made sure to watch each of the last year's 12 games at least 3 times through. And find out what matchups are good for us, who's good in what positions. Brady Moore is a guy who started the year looking like he was going to be a linebacker.
Yep.
Watched some tape from last year and thought, I really think this kid can be an animal at defensive end. And he broke our career sack record by week 4. So he's had a fantastic year on the defensive side. I think he's up to 12 sacks now. So just going to a lot of clinics and picking up some stuff there. And I coached with Jeffrey Allen, who's at Jackson now, and I picked up a lot of stuff from him. My first few years, he was the defense coordinator at Oak Hill. And I coached under him. So just keeping a lot of the stuff he did in the 4.25 and picking up some stuff from clinics and always just stealing from different coaches that you've been with over the years. And, we do a lot of twist ups up front. And, like you said, we send pressure in a lot of different ways. And, it's a good system. I
think you've got a pretty athletic bunch defensively.
We do, yeah.
And I think that's been key for you guys all year long, especially dialing up pressure.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like I like the way you guys play defense. It feels like almost man-to-man basketball that everything switches all the time.
Yeah.
You just send pressure from a bunch of different angles at a lot of different times. What goes into your mind when you're coaching the defensive side of things in such an aggressive way? That's not something we see a lot of in Southeast Ohio.
Well, it's like you said, we're blessed with a lot of athletes on the defensive side, and it's decent size athletes too.
Yeah.
So we're blessed that for a D7 school, we don't have a lot of kids, but we're able to, in third and long situations, we can mix in different personnels and different packages that a lot of schools that are our size don't have that ability to do so.
Yeah.
So it's just it's managing situations. I do my breakdowns every week and watch through the scout films and we have our percentages based on what teams do in each area of the field, down and distance, how much time's on the clock, what quarter it's in, and that helps us to make our little educated guesses on
So
the
are you a big
defensive side.
analytics guy then?
I love analytics.
Yeah. I am too.
Yeah, I watch 8 to 10 hours of film a week. I'm an Excel junkie. I'm playing around in
Oh,
spreadsheets
man.
all the time.
See?
Okay,
That's
I'll
my
switch you
kind of
seats. I'll
DC.
switch you seats. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, so my play sheet's not even really a play sheet. I have all the stuff in my head. It's all just statistics on what does this team do on 3rd and 3 on the plus 40-yard line in the third quarter with 15 seconds.
Yeah, some of those ESPN stats, just random stats of the day.
Right.
I love it.
So, yeah, we've got all that together, and that really helps us. We can get a feel for what a team likes to do in a certain formation, what a team likes to do in certain situations, and it helps us take advantage of that and send pressures at certain times and drop off into coverages at certain times when we think they're going to take a shot. And
I love
that
it.
stuff.
You can't fake preparation.
Right.
No,
you
you
can't fake preparation.
No,
It's not, especially this level, this time of the year. Good luck. And we talked about a region that's wide open.
Mm-hmm.
You can get beat any night from this point on. So good. And you guys got everyone's best test all year long.
We have,
I mean, you guys got everyone's haymaker night in, night out. Didn't matter for the Eastern Eagles. So we talked about some of the things, the adjustments that you made during the year, in the offseason, things like that. I love the film stuff. I love the football. It just screams football junkie.
Yeah, exactly. He's a football nerd just like us.
He fits right in with the football guy thing. But I want to talk to you about the South Gallia Rebels. This is a matchup that we all feel pretty favorably in as we sit with the Madman as well here. Mike Davis, Sullys in the Valley. What a time.
Yeah.
But we all feel pretty favorably. I mean,
Hey,
you're
two-game
not
win
going
streak.
to the
Yeah.
Crown
On 'em.
City.
Right.
You're not
Right.
heading down to Mercerville. That windy drive.
It's a rough drive.
It's disgusting. I love it. It's a nice place once you're there, bub. But by the time I get there, I'm down 7 because I got the tummy sickness. So you're home this time. That means a lot, especially week 12.
Right.
That would have been a much rowdier place week 12 than it was. I think week 7, week 8,
week 9.
Week 9. It was
just a few weeks
golly.
ago. Yeah.
That's no wonder you got their best punch. It was for the conference championship.
Well, yeah, exactly.
essentially,
Right at the end of the season.
at the time. So what do you see in this Rebels team heading into tomorrow night? What are some things you guys are going to have to do to defend the Rebels?
It starts up front. We have to defend the run with South Gallia. They've got 3 extremely capable running backs. I mean, they are very, very good. I'm losing their names off the top of my head. But number 17 plays that middle back in the T. He's one of their biggest backs, and he was their leading rusher all year. And actually against us, he was their third guy in carries. They got 2 other guys that they can go to in any situation. And and their quarterback was a guy who played running back for them last year. So they've got 4 legit rushing threats in the backfield at any time.
Yeah.
So it starts up front. They're a feisty group. They've got a great offensive line. We just got to load up the box and stop the run first, make them throw. And I feel like if we get in a situation, if our offense comes to play, puts up some points early, and we feel if we make them throw early, we're gonna have a pretty good chance of winning the game.
I think that benefits you guys. I definitely think that's something that from the past we've seen. I mean, Madman, you've had as good an eye for Eastern Eagles football as any. I mean, it seems like a recipe to success in our eyes.
Well, that's the way I feel too. I mean, defense is everything, and I think we can stop the run.
Sorry, Mike.
Oh, you're good. No one wants to hear me.
I don't
Those
know.
buttons just ain't working.
It's a levels thing for me, man. I'm apologizing for you here. Keep it moving.
It might be my headset, too. I probably screamed a little too much.
There we go.
Oh,
there we go. We got you. We got you there. Let's keep it going.
All right. So, yeah, I got to see it all season. And you mentioned Brady Moore. So when I go back and watch the games, I was telling Declan, like watching Declan and Brady hit at the same time. Just,
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. That would just ring my bell like you would.
Yeah.
See.
Oh, yeah.
When one goes high, the other goes low. So I just love how they work.
Yeah, we
yeah.
Just that combination in general. Brady's our weak side rush in, and then Declan's the will linebacker. So we're able to do a lot of different twist blitzes and stunts with those two. And it's with both of their speed and athleticism, and it's tough to block. I remember all the way back in week 2 to the Huntington kid. It was just on every third and 5 and longer, it was the exact same stunt, and they couldn't block either one of them. I mean, they get after it. So, yeah.
And I gotta say, averaging almost 3 turnovers a game on
Yeah.
your defensive side, getting Eric Manley, the quarterback, leading the helmet on the offensive side, 3 extra possessions as well. Like
It's
that's
huge.
a great sign for Eastern Beaver for success.
Yeah, it's huge. Last time we played South Guy, we ended up forcing 5 turnovers.
Yeah, and a big fumble right after that interception with 5 minutes left. A
Right,
big
the very first play
defensive
after,
stop.
yeah, it was the fumble. Yeah, when that's just something else we noticed on film. So when I set up our defensive practice schedules for Tuesdays, there's always one point of emphasis fundamental that we want to go over, and we felt that we had a pretty good chance at forcing turnovers that week. At the time they were kind of loose carrying the football, and so the point of emphasis was stripping the ball, punching the ball out.
Yeah, so I mean you're teaching the rip and the punch.
And that was something we went over all week, and it really played into our hand that week, and we're hoping that it does again. So
The defensive coordinator, Daniel Stewart, joining us here, and we're at Sullys in the Valley. It's been a fun evening here. We're having a blast, but I want to continue talking with you about this matchup heading into tomorrow against the Rebels. You guys fare very well, back-to-back 10-0 seasons. We've congratulated you for all the fun things. But it's playoff football. We got to throw it all out the window tomorrow.
All out.
Another area that we haven't talked about with the Eastern Eagles, special teams. I thought one thing that the Eastern Eagles have done this year, not giving up big plays on special teams really all year. I mean, really all year, you've done a pretty good job of that. What kind of factor will the special teams have in this football game tomorrow night? I mean, it's week 12.
No, I mean, special teams is, like you said, it's huge. It wins and loses football games, and our staff, I feel like we do a really good job of emphasizing special teams. And, we spend at least 30 minutes a day, even before our Thursday run-through day, on special teams every day. It's big, we saw in the Strasburg game, and, the opening kickoff, took it to the house, ran a fake extra point on the very next play, and you're up 8-0 just like that. And, the wheels start churning. We blocked the punt. Declan blocked the punt later in the game. So, I think I read a few weeks ago, teams that block a punt are like 90% likely to go on and win the game. Like if you block a punt, you're winning the game 90% of the time in that game. So it's huge. It's huge.
What a heck of a statistic.
Right. It's massive. So I think special teams are playing in our favor. I think we got a pretty good game plan for that too. It's not just an offensive and defensive game plan. We scout special teams and we scout matchups on that aspect of the ball. And I think we'll have some surprises that I can't talk about.
You don't have to talk about it.
Keep those secrets.
Keep the secrets, because that's what Football Friday is all about. Right? The secrets and nuances and the memorable moments that make Football Friday night. But who's one guy that has stood out to you in the special teams area on your crew this year that maybe kind of been an unsung hero, doesn't get the notoriety or things like that, but team loves him, team guy, always does the job, maybe that type of player?
So there's a couple guys, actually. The first one I'll shout out would be Wyatt Richardson. I know that's probably not the answer you're looking for because he is a two-way starter.
That's
but,
okay.
Man, he is an animal.
I'll take it.
He makes just about every tackle and punt. He makes every tackle and kickoff. I mean, he is truly a heat-seeking missile when it comes to flying down the field and making plays.
Love it.
We're big proponents in starters being on special teams, especially in the smaller school area.
Absolutely. Yeah, we play a lot of starters on special teams. Isaiah Stidham's another guy that, a little bit undersized, but, man, he's a missile when he flies down and thumps you. I mean, he goes – he's probably 135 pounds, and he hits you. It feels like about 190. I mean, he's moving, and he gets.
It's called leverage, bro.
Right,
it's called leverage.
It's called just running right through the person.
right. He's a great special teamer, and we're really lucky to have him. He's just a sophomore too, so
you
lucky to have him.
So you mentioned Wyatt Richardson, a kid that starts two ways, like you said, but that said, I'm okay with an unsung hero of special teams. I mean, those are the plays when people go and get snack breaks. If they want to miss a huge hit because someone's running downfield on punt or kickoff, have at it. Because no plays off for the Eastern Beaver Eagles.
Absolutely.
Rest assured, that's been the case. Daniel Stewart, the Eastern Beaver Eagles defensive coordinator, joining us. Let me ask you before we let you go.
Okay.
As a coach, between you and I and all these fine people here in Beaver, do you look around the region at all?
Try not to.
Okay.
You know, we'll keep an eye on what scores are going on, but no, we're pretty.
It's nothing but like
it's South Gallia
pretty
week.
tuned into this week.
It's South Gallia week. You know,
Okay.
You know, obviously we want to get to Canton, but Canton goes through South Gallia. You know, we can't get there if we don't win this week. So
I love it.
You know,
dialed in, baby.
Maybe guilty as charged last week a little bit, and you know, continuing the game plan for South Gallia a little bit.
Well, you've already started it. You know, in the regular season, might as well finish it before playoff time.
You know, we wanted that rematch again, and but now no, it's you know, we might see, you know, if we were able to get a win, you know. Canton Valley is a 5 widespread team. Trimble is another ground and pound team. So it's two different styles. We're not worrying about that. We're about stopping the run on Friday and
take care of business this week.
Yep.
I love it. Only reason I ask, there's a lot of region, a lot of things that take place heading into the playoffs.
It's a very interesting region.
Well, and everyone looks at it going into the playoffs, but I've gotten the sense here in Eastern, or at Beaver this evening for these Eastern Eagles, everyone's doubting, everyone's locked in. The playoffs took care of themselves. Now it's week 1.
Yep.
As you head into week 12 in all reality.
Got to go 1-0 every week.
Got to go 1-0 every single week.
Yep.
Daniel Stewart, defensive coordinator of this Eastern Eagles crew. We got a lot more to come here on the 740 Sports Show. Great perspective, though. Thanks for taking the time to join us. Make sure you get the burger in there. It's phenomenal.
I got a burger there last week.
Did you?
Yeah. It's great.
Well, hey, we met Steve Adams. Nothing on the menu that isn't phenomenal if you've talked to him. He recommends everything.
Yeah, he will.
I promise. We got a lot more to come. Keep it right here. It's Eric, Bubba, and our crew on the 740 Sports Show. More when we return on The Game.
What's up? This is Will I Am. I'm joining Stand Up to Cancer and Providence Health System to let you know that colon cancer affects the Black community at a higher rate. But there's hope. If you're 45 and older, go get a colon cancer screening right now because it's 91% beatable if detected early. Ask your doctor or go to providence.org/colon cancer to determine which screening option is right for you.
Roxanne Watson is on a mission to have more people sign up as organ, eye, and tissue donors. What drives her? Roxanne received a heart transplant made possible by an organ donor.
I decided that day to devote myself to signing up the most people in the United States. That's my goal.
Now she's a powerful force for good. What could you make possible as an organ, eye, and tissue donor? Leave behind the gift of life. Go to organdonor.gov. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
I noticed that my central vision started to blur.
Figures that are usually straight started to distort to become wavy.
What are these little dark spots with blurring that I'm seeing?
There's a blind spot like a blob over my vision now.
Is my vision lost forever?
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist in a timely manner have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Don't delay seeing a retina specialist. It's worth the visit to save your vision so you don't miss out on life's precious moments, like seeing your grandchild grow up, enjoying a sunset with that special someone, or reading a good book. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
You deserve the peace of mind that comes with affordable health insurance. Get Covered Ohio can help at no charge. Financial assistance is available and coverage is more affordable than ever. Some health insurance plans are as low as $10 or less a month. Don't wait. Open enrollment ends January 15th. Make your free appointment today by calling 833-628-4467 or visit getcoveredohio.org. This message is supported by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, but does not necessarily represent the official views of the U.S. government. Sponsored by the Ohio Association of Food Banks, aired by OAB and this station.
Looking for a rewarding career with a global leader? Kirchhoff Automotive, a family-owned company, offers you the chance to grow and succeed. At Kirchhoff, your development is our priority because a better you means a better us. Together we will work for one aim. We move future. Kirchhoff Automotive in Waverly is hiring now with starting wages from $18.83 to $20.33 an hour. Visit our career website today for more information. Kirchhoff Automotive, where your future drives ours.
And we're back with more of the 740 Sports Show on the game. Hey, we're back. It's Eric and Bub. You're listening to the 740 Sports Show live from Sullys in the Valley, Bub. We are in Beaver, Ohio this evening. It's hump day. It's Wednesday.
Get us right over the hurdle.
Not Thursday, not Friday, not Saturday. It's Wednesday, Bub, and the people down in Beaver are excited. Eagerly awaiting football Friday night. Huge matchup against the South Gallia Rebels, Week 12 action. And we're now joined by Dalton Tomlinson of the Eastern Beaver Eagles squad. And Dalton, man, thanks for taking the time to talk to us this evening and give us a little bit of your insight on the year. Let's talk about it. It's football Friday night. It's Week 12. Talk to me about all things Eastern Beaver football. Let's do it.
Hey, man, I coach the offensive line,
Let's do it.
O-line, D-line, and obviously we graduated a lot of seniors last year on the O-line. You know?
A lot.
Yep. My left tackle's gone, my right guard's gone, my right tackle is gone.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what the offensive line was going to look like at the beginning of this year.
Right.
You know, we got a couple transfers with Mason Cater, Tucker Justice, so that kind of helped make me realize, all right, I think I'm going to start plugging pieces in here and there.
Add you some depth to the roster as well.
Yeah.
So right now, I think we're looking pretty good. I have Hayden Reinsmith, who's a junior at left tackle. My little brother Brewer at left guard.
Okay.
Cade Lice at center as a sophomore. Right guard's Mason Cater as a sophomore. And now making his second start is Bronson Keller as a freshman. Right tackle.
It's a very young core of offensive linemen.
I'm very excited about that group. You know, no seniors in that group.
Exactly. You got a lot of time to develop them and improve. Oh, yeah, that's a great thing as a coach.
It's very exciting. I think we've really progressed throughout the year, you know, from starting week 1 to week 12.
Yeah.
Now we've really gotten better and starting to really click. I still don't think we've played our best football yet, though.
Yeah.
So I think we're only progressing from here.
That's a great thing, yeah.
I got to say, and bear with us here, we're having a little bit of a tough time with the Madman's audio, but we're still going to ask to hear from him anyway, so if we can hear you even a little bit, chime in. But I
have to deal with you muting me all the time.
Well,
so
you know what?
You get a little taste of what I have to deal with.
Unfortunately, that's just kind of the way that it goes sometimes. But for the Madman here, it's kind of, all things hold true there for that offensive line. Young core, they're going to be back. You got to be licking your lips if you're the Eastern Eagles.
Oh, I think so. And just for me, from a broadcasting perspective, it's like what's going to be next year.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've got to see some of the junior high kids, a lot of good kids coming up.
Yeah.
And a lot of the kids that we talk about, week in and week out, they are freshmen. Like you said, Bronson is a freshman.
Young kids.
Very young.
Jack Montgomery is a freshman. Just lots of young kids, so the future is bright.
Bright future.
From my perspective, and I'm sure from yours too.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited. You know, we're losing 4 seniors, 4 really good seniors.
Right.
It's, that's leading the way on this playoff run. But, at the end of the day, when you look toward next year as well, you have a lot coming back. I expect great things for the next 4 or 5 years. We're starting freshmen now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just reloading at that point.
Well,
right?
and that's what you did this year. So young offensive line this year, senior heavy class a year ago. What were some of the things that you knew coming into the season? We're going to have to do well if we want to even do sniff a half of what you are now, sitting at 11-0 week 12.
Oh, no, it's 100% running the ball.
Right.
Right. I live and breathe offensive line. At the end of the day, when all things are going wrong on the outside, so we're not completing passes, bad things are going on. At the end of the day, you have to lean on the run.
Right.
We have to have positive yardage on the run. It's something that South Gallia, game-winning drive. We haven't had a great day on the outside. We go, all right, let's go.
That's
we're
it.
Going inside zone all the way down the field.
All the way down.
Go 5 minutes off the clock, throw it in at the end of the game.
Had a game like that myself.
That's got to be one you'll remember for, for probably the rest of your life. It's as good as it gets. Run it all the way down the field. Like you said, inside zone, ice, all the
Really
Yeah.
caught the
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. Yeah. Very.
Like, that's what it feel. That's what
I
it felt
love
like
it.
watching that game.
I love it.
That's what good teams do. At the end of the day, you got to be able to run the ball. You got to be able to take a game-winning drive for 5 minutes when you got to do it. And put
Yeah,
it in.
if you want to submit your legacy, you got to have a drive like that to really cap it all off.
And going back off, that's doing that with a young offensive line.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, that's a line that knows, I preach, hey, we have to be consistent. We have to be the most consistent people on the field.
Yeah.
You know, doing our jobs, keying our linebackers, and getting on blocks.
Yeah.
You know? So
Hey, I got one question for you, man, because this is, and you don't have to answer this now. We can wait till after the season, but I got to know. This is a very physical offensive front, defensive front. I know that has to just tickle you pink inside.
Oh, yeah.
And what a great way to build a culture down here in Beaver, because like you said, in the middle of a hurricane, in the middle of all things going wrong, you can run the football. If you know what you're up to, you can run the football. So it's a great thing to be able to hang your hat on. But I got to know. Let's call it 3rd and short. You and I here, just us and all of Beaver. What you calling? You and me.
You know,
just you and me.
Hopefully there's no rebels listening. But at the end of the day, when the game's on the line, 3rd and short, we're probably handing the ball to my little brother.
All right, baby.
Yes,
I love it.
I
What are you doing up front?
Up front,
I know you like the inside zone.
we do like
It's
the
won
inside
you
zone.
some games. It's done some great things for you.
We do, and that's our bread and butter.
It
man.
is it.
You know, that's something that I could not run all week in practice. Come out in game day, we're still going
No
to learn.
sweat.
It's no sweat.
I love
Yeah,
this
it's-
guy.
it's
We
very-
can run.
it's
We can
very
run
nice.
inside zone with our eyes closed. you
Yeah,
know?
it's a very nice, not easy, but very uniform.
This is the
blocking
brother I wish I
scheme.
would have gotten.
I mean, it's very nice. It's very nice to maneuver the linebackers at the
man.
second level with that inside
Right.
zone, and especially if you can work the outside edge as well.
Hey, you're a good football guy, Bob. I know you like your offensive line talk, but I know you're enjoying this as much as I am, man. I mean, Dalton
Yes, so stop
Tomlinson-
interrupting.
Well,
man.
I'm sorry, Bub, but man, he's it's
I think-
impressive. I like this guy. He's a football guy, likes to block, likes to be physical, and he's helped lead this team to
Yes.
great things this year.
Another 10-0 season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
we got the things. We had a good game plan in right now. You know, I'm
Feeling
not gonna
good?
Say if there's any rebels listening, you know,
That's all right. That's
but,
okay. That's okay.
I have a good game plan, good run game plan. I think you guys will be very surprised come Friday night.
Well, we'll be there.
We're
We'll
gonna
be there.
We're gonna do some different stuff. So
We'll be there. You know what? At this point, I'm probably just going inside at Sullys. I'll hang out here tomorrow, maybe do work, maybe not. And then I'll just hang out here on Friday and then just head on over.
Yeah.
You think it'd be okay with that? I think our total media team would be just fine if I just pitched a tent here and just hung out here
I
at
think
Sullys in the
anything to
Valley.
get you away for a little bit.
That's your take on things, but that's not everyone's take on things. But we do have a few minutes left here. We got about 15 minutes left on the 740 Sports Show. We've been in some great company this evening, but it's also my understanding there's maybe another gentleman I'm expecting as well.
Brewers coming up next.
We got Brewer. Well, hey, let's just do a nice smooth transition then. We'll move the hey, Dalton Tomlinson,
Hey,
everyone.
nice to meet
Thank
you.
you, man. Nice
Absolutely.
meeting you,
Thanks for
brother.
having
Thanks
us.
so much for taking the time. We appreciate it. But now we got to make sure. Whoa. What are you guys feed? Is it Sullys for everybody all day? What are you feeding these guys? Sullys.
This right here, this young man.
Yes.
Is what we like to call a D9 cat bulldozer.
A D9 cat bulldozer.
That's a heck
man.
of a nickname.
Wow. And that I gotta say, he looks like it. If I
Does
could
that fit on the
describe
back
him,
of a jersey?
it fits on. It fits on. He's got enough claw. What do you mean? Does it fit on the? Why limit this young man to the back of a jersey with a name like that? We've got Brewer. Brewer, what's your last name, man? Tomlinson. I'm just going to assume at this point, right?
Yeah,
right?
I
Isn't that
think
what
it's
we
safe
do
to
down
say,
here in
yeah,
Beaver?
absolutely.
We just assume the last name's Tomlinson at this point. Well, I'm Eric Tomlinson. Nice to meet you. So hey, we got Brewer Tomlinson here. I'm sure offensive, defensive lineman. If I had a gun to my head, but hey, we've got this
You
young
called him
man
a
down
soccer
here.
player as he was walking in.
No,
You wanna
I didn't say
one?
that. That was you earlier, remember? He wasn't in that group that got called soccer
My
players
gosh.
earlier back. I was just kidding anyway, man. But anyway, we're in good company. We're joined by Brewer here, and we've got a lot going on in Beaver. Sullys in the Valley, man. As you can tell, people are excited about this football game Friday night. What's that mean to you as a player and just a student athlete down here in your hometown?
It's great. It shows how supported we really are, and that we're trying to create a tradition.
Yeah.
So it shows that it's working and that we are creating tradition, and that's like the main thing that I've tried to leave behind is tradition for the rest of the kids that are younger. So when I'm gone and off to college, they have that to lean upon and to uphold.
Well, you're doing some great things, creating traditions. Probably the way. I mean, creating tradition from scratch.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have taken a football program and and you're probably 16, 17, 18 years. How old are you?
18.
18 years old. Man, he's 18 years old, and this is a relative. I mean, you've grown up around football your entire life, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Being with the Tomlinson game, I'm sure it's in your blood, it's in your veins, but it hasn't been around here for too long. What's it mean to be a part of something so new, man?
Means a lot. Just shows like how well-rounded our athletes are in our school too, and how we are all really competitive and we all want to win as a school, and just shows how much we want it compared to other schools to pick something up that hasn't been around long and succeed at it in such a short amount of time. Just shows. I mean, you look at all of our conference championships this year. We won boys cross country, we won volleyball, we just won football for the third time. It just shows how competitive we are and how we all back up and support each other.
Some really good things happening down here in Division 7, Region 27, Eastern Beaver. How excited are you headed into Friday night, man?
Super excited, super pumped. It gives us a chance to get past round 2. We didn't get past round 2 last year. Got stopped on the 3rd-yard line, and just make sure it doesn't happen this year.
Yeah.
Trying to get far, so.
Yeah, big goals, obviously, I'm sure. And you're in one of the special situations, in my eyes, in Southeastern Ohio football where you get the opportunity to take on a team in the postseason that you had an opportunity to see in the regular season. And everyone knows, tough game. 1-point game. You guys were able to take it down the field late, put your stamp on that game. What does it mean heading into this game knowing you were able to have such a dominant performance late in that game? Does that give you any confidence at all?
Yeah, it just shows that basically we can run the ball, and I mean, if everything goes bad in the game, that we can always fall back to running the ball again, and we're going to run over them. So
yeah, I love it. I love
it's a
it.
good fail-safe to have.
That's confidence in Eastern Beaver, man. That is confidence. I love it. We're going to be there. Football Friday nights presented by General Mills, making its very first stop. The very first stop in Eastern Beaver this Friday, 2 days away.
Should be very exciting.
Yep, and I'll be here pretty much at Sullys until then if you need me.
Yeah, we're going to have to go somewhere and get you a tent, or, I mean, you can just knock on some houses or something.
That's it.
Get a couch to crash on.
That's it. And I'm going to deal with the audio problem here just one more time, but I want to know, a young man like Brewer Tomlinson helping lead the way for this Eastern Beaver squad. What have you seen from this young man, not only this year, but you've been around the sport for a little longer than just this year?
I have been around Brewer for a long time.
Yeah.
He came up with the program, and I've watched him mature as an individual. He's a great kid. He's been at my house a few times throughout the years. Good young man, great athlete, and he's a good leader.
Yes.
And I can see him this year and next year just keeping that offensive line and defensive line going.
Yeah.
Getting that football, moving those kids like a bulldozer out of the way and getting that touchdown.
Yeah, just being the anchor for both sides of those lines.
How's it feel to you, Madman, knowing that he's this confident heading into this big game, Week 12, Friday in Beaver?
It makes me feel great. You've got to be confident. You've got to be ready to get to that next level. They got here before last year. Like he said, it was on the 1-yard line or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Yeah.
We can move forward, and I love the confidence. I love the confidence in all these Eastern.
I was going to say, I mean, I've not seen anything other than we're ready for football way earlier than anyone else seems to be in the 7-4-0.
Yeah, it's a very respect all, fear none attitude right now here in Eastern Beaver.
Yeah. And that's that's probably the best way to put it, bub. That's probably the best way to put it. It sounds like you guys are ready to play football anytime, anywhere. Well, I gotta say this, Brewer, we're gonna let you go here as we wrap up. But I gotta say, man, thank you for taking the time out of your evening. And if you got food, it's hard to turn food away here at Sullys and come talk to two imbeciles like us about some football for a little while. So I gotta say, thanks for stepping away from your plate.
Yeah.
And you know, good luck to you Friday. We're rooting for you against these rebels from South Gallia, bub.
Absolutely,
the Crown City.
I do got one more question for you.
Talk to the big fella.
Right before the game, what music you playing to get yourself in the zone?
Great question, bub.
Probably just like newer rap.
Okay.
Like
who you got to
Savage.
repeat right now? Okay.
You got any Eminem in there?
No.
Come on.
He said newer rap. Bub.
Newer rap.
Eminem's all-time rap. It doesn't matter. New, old, he's goated.
No, like 21 Savage, Kendrick Lamar.
That's
like
it.
any of them.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh my God, the Kendrick. We all know the song of Kendrick Lamar's right now.
Hey, we're gonna find out if South Gallia's like them or not, bub. We're gonna find out. It's not feeling like it though. A whole lot of confidence.
They're replaying that after the game.
Okay, I do got one more since you threw him one, bub. Pre-game ritual. take me through an hour before. I mean, offensive, defensive line's violent position. You do something like that to someone in the hallways, you're out of school, brother. But on Friday nights, it's a little bit different. What's it like getting into that mindset, that zone heading into Friday night?
I try to lock in the morning and just repeat everything. I like to get up and get breakfast in the morning and then go to school. I kind of get my schoolwork done and not really think about it so much during the day because I just get anxious.
Yeah.
But once I'm out of the school building, then it's like I know I go straight to the Village Brew, got my coffee, and then I'm going home, getting food, and coming back. And that's it. Every day, and I'm locked in after that. I'm good.
That's it. Heck yeah. Well, hey, Brewer, man, we're wishing you all the luck Friday night, man, and this has been our first real football experience in Beaver, and you guys have helped make it a phenomenal experience. Enjoy your pizza, ma'am.
All right.
Enjoy your pizza. But, hey, you've helped make this a phenomenal football experience. Huge thank you, man, and good luck to you. We're rooting for you. We'll be there football Friday nights in Eastern Beaver this Friday night, and that's pretty much going to do it for us here on a beautiful Wednesday at Sullys in the Valley. Bub, we've had a great show. What a great sign. What a great sign. What a great atmosphere. Bub, the 7-4-ometer. I'm ready to say it.
It's definitely.
I'm ready to say it. Are you ready?
Are you doing it?
I'm doing it.
Okay, go ahead.
Eastern Beaver.
This has
Football
been.
Friday night, 7-4-ometer. Top.
Yep.
Top.
Yep, I agree with you.
Top.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Next level.
Yep.
Next level. Eastern Beaver is the premier 7-4-0 football spot right now, Bub. Week 12.
Been very gracious
Week
and very
12,
high energy.
It is.
Week 12.
It's as good as it gets. We're excited. Eastern Beaver football is here. It is here, and it's here to stay, it feels like, Bub.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it would be nice to have another week of football down here in Eastern Beaver.
It would be. And by the sounds of it, well,
oh, yeah.
They may be taking the sounds on the road, but something tells me, Bub, another week of football in Beaver. That's going to do it for us here on today's edition of the 740 Sports Show. On behalf of Bub, on behalf of the Madman, and on behalf of everyone in Beaver at Sullys in the Valley, we appreciate your hospitality. Thank you. Have a wonderful night. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening to this episode of the 740 Sports Show. On behalf of both the Landrum brothers, Eric and Bub, we'll be back tomorrow from 3 to 7 on Total Media Sports Radio.
Anyone can choose to make a difference. You can help people succeed, rebuild after disasters,